Yeah, another fun project for me. Working on a 2004 ML 350. Working on there's a intake manifold vacuum supply for the variable intake runners. So as you can see, this one is broken off right out the manifold. So I got this thing all apart. I can see, I read all the other stuff I found online, and it's all pretty good information. A couple things I've noticed that are more I can add to that. It's a bushing. It sits in. There's a note here around the inside of these grooves and around this end shoulder. It looks like they've used some kind of sealant. Here's a closer look at that. Grommet, bushing, whatever the heck you want to call this thing. It's supposed to have a length of vacuum line come off the end here. And then basically it sits down inside here. And then gets sandwiched in and provides a seal up against this little vacuum port on this tank right here. You can see there's like a little, it's like an old little carb diaphragm. Little one-way valve for that vacuum tank right there. So, whatever I do needs to not come out anymore. And if the vacuum line ever goes bad again, I want to be able to switch it out without doing all of this crap. Okay, here's my plan. I gotta do it now. I have this nipple, I found it kicking around in my shop here. I got a little nipple section. I got a big nipple section too, but that's another story. So you can see I'm beyond the point of no return now. But I have a pretty solid idea, I believe. This is going to screw into there. And I'm actually going to solder a piece of steel brake line through this nipple. Put the insert back inside. Grommet is not in there right now. So that's up against inside there. Just yeah. So that's up against, and I want to pull it back an 1/8 of an inch. There's no reason for it to be too close. If it's too close, then the insert won't screw in properly. So you want to, I would say you want to leave yourself at least a good 1/8 inch. And then solder that little guy. Alright. He's soldered on there. That's a pretty nice tight fit. I'm going to take some more measurements. Alright, here she is. You guys can almost see there. Got a nice tight solder all the way around. I was going to solder at the top, but I don't want to mess it up, man, because it looks so pretty. So I hit it with some red Loctite. And I don't ever want to take this back out of here. And I don't want to do it up so tight that I risk cracking this case. And that's it. I'm going to leave it right there. Shouldn't have to take that out of there ever again. My next project now is to measure from the top of my brass nipple there, because it sticks up a little bit. So I want to measure from the top of it to the edge of my shoulder. Right here. or slightly down. I don't have to go all the way up to the edge. The last thing I want to do is put a bunch of pressure on this when I'm tightening this thing down, so I don't want a lot of pressure on there. There's nowhere for this thing to go anyway, because there's only an 1/8 of an inch gap between this and the tube that comes up to it, so I just need to make sure I'm shorter. So pretty much I could just measure the length of this nipple and the length of my nipple sticking out inside of here, and add a little 1/16 for luck, and that should be good. Here we go, final assembly. I'll put the looser end, I'll put some silicone around in these grooves here, while whatever sealant I add. I also put just a little dab on that nipple there, and I put a little dab on the nipple down inside here. So I'm going to slide this guy on. And then I test fitted it once and it fit quite nicely, so just got to make sure as you're going down in that little tube down in that hole seats into that grommet, which I can assure you it has. Now it's sandwiched in from the top, sandwiched in from the bottom, can't go anywhere. Even on something boosted, that would be a trustworthy fix for the life of this machine. So clean it back up and clean it up a little more, and then clean it up some more. Before I get too carried away here, buttoning this thing up. I can't do the camera in it at the same time, but you just got to hold this around a little bit as you drop this top piece in, and then make sure that little pin goes in that little groove. Alright, so after my test fit, this is a little long. Alright, so I left like a 1/16 of an inch above my solder, and then I'm going to go with a right angle rubber boot. So I found a little better 90. Wasn't such a stretch to get it over the big hose, and they had a smaller diameter on the other side and a little piece of copper line, and hopefully this will be the final version. Just to give you guys a final little look back what this looks like. This is what it looks like. Perfect clearance. There's probably a 1/8 of an inch between the end of that plug and my little elbow there. So overall, I'm way happier with this design, and even Mercedes does some dumb stuff every now and again, but when I first looked down here, this is what I was expecting to see, so I'm much happier about it now.